So in this video, we're going to go through the basic functionality of Maya. So go ahead and launch Maya. So when you open Maya for the first time, you're going to be introduced to this window. Okay, so I usually untick this button, so that way, like every time you open Maya, right, this little window will not be popped out. Okay, so go ahead and press OK. And the first thing that you wanted to focus on is this viewport. Okay, so when I refer to this viewport, it's actually I'm referring to this working space. Okay, so this is where you're going to be spending most of your time doing your homework or your assignment. Okay, so moving to the top, we have this tab, right? And as you can see, there is quite a bit of option or menu on here. Okay, so we're going to go through the modeling first, right? Because each of these tabs will give you a different set of menu. Okay, so in this module, you're going to be spending a little bit of time doing modeling, and then you're going to be moving to the texturing, then rigging, and a bit of animation, and also the lighting bits. Okay, so this is how we call tab menu. Okay, so moving on to the top section, we also have this little menu, right? The top menu, and this menu is actually changed whenever you click or choose a different setup. Okay, right now it's set to modeling, so you're gonna have this menu on the top, like mesh, edit mesh, mesh tool, and so on. But when I switch this to rigging, you notice that all these menu will also change. Okay, and now it's set to skeleton, skin, deform, and shrink. And if I change this to animation, the menu also change. Okay, so do keep in mind that whenever you change this drop down menu, the menu on the top will also be changed. Okay, so right now I'm just going to set it back to modeling because that's the first lesson that we're going to have today. Now, in moving back, or maybe moving to this section rather, right, we have all these move, rotate, and also scale. Okay, so let's say I want to create like a box there, and if I want to move an object, I can press this button, or the shortcut is W. Okay, so if I press W, right, that will give me the manipulator. Okay, so the blue one will let you move the object front or back. Okay, whereas the red one will let you move the object to the left or right. And the green one, which is Y, will go up or down. Okay, because we are working on 3D space, which allow you to move in 3 different directions. Now, so how do we manipulate a camera inside Maya? Well, you can press Alt and left mouse button. Okay, they will let you rotate the camera. Right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm rotating my camera so I can look at the object in a different angle. Okay, and if you want to pan the camera, right, you can use Alt and middle mouse button. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm panning my camera. Okay, so this is Alt and middle mouse button. Okay, so let's say I want to move my camera to this side. I'm using Alt and middle mouse button. Okay, so if I want to zoom in, I can use my Alt and right mouse button. Okay, so that will let me zoom my camera like this. Okay, and if you want to zoom out, you can press Alt, right mouse button, and move your mouse. Okay, so I'm moving my mouse in the up direction. And if I want to zoom in, I'm going to press Alt, right mouse button, and move my mouse downward. And that will give me a zoom in movement. Okay, now another next thing is that some people would like to work on orthographic. So if you want to switch this viewport to orthographic, you can either click this button here, right? That will give you like 4 viewport, okay? Or you can also tap on spacebar. Okay, so I'm tapping my spacebar, and they will give me this view. So this is my top view, and this is my front view, and that is my side view. Okay, it's controlled by tapping, okay, not holding, because if you hold your spacebar, that will give you a different menu. Okay, so let's say I want to zoom in on this top view. I can tap spacebar again. Okay, so this is my top view. Okay, so orthographic means like you look at the object, right, directly 90 degrees. So this cube, right, for example, you're viewing this cube from top down angle, so that way only 2 axes can only be used here. Okay, because this view doesn't let you move your object in the 3D. Okay, so if you want to move using 3 different directions, then you're going to have to use the perspective. Okay, because right now only 2 axes are available in orthographic. Okay, again, if I want to switch back to side view, right, I can click here and tap spacebar, and they will give me the maximized view of my side view. Okay, and tap again. Okay, so if you want to go back to the way it was, right, the maximized version of the perspective, you can also tap spacebar here, right, or you can also click this button there. Okay, so they will let you go back to this maximized version of the perspective. Okay, and one thing before we finish up the video, okay, you can also notice that there is a side menu right here. Okay, and I'm going to switch this to channel box, right, and they will give me this menu on the side. Okay, so this menu is quite important because it tells you like the location of each object. So let's say I want to move this cube, or maybe I want to delete this cube, and I'm going to create a new object, right, and I want to move this object about 10 units upward. So I can just type 10, and that will give me the exact location of that object. Okay, let's compare if I move this manually or eyeball it, they call it. Okay, so you can also put like the exact number like that. Okay, and if I want to move this forward or maybe backward, I can put some value like that. Okay, pretty simple. Okay, and if I want to put this to the way it was, okay, I can just highlight this and press 0, and they will place the object back in the origin. Okay, so this is how we call a channel box. Okay, the shortcut for that is you can press Ctrl A. So Ctrl A will let you toggle between all these side menu. So there's actually like 3 different menus. There is a channel box, there is modeling tools, and there is attribute editor. Okay, so by pressing Ctrl A, it will let you toggle to the menu. Okay, so right now you are channel box, and if you want to toggle, Ctrl A, and if you want to toggle back again, you press Ctrl A. Okay, so that is the basic functionality of Maya. Okay, so if you want to create a polygon object, you can just click and drag or move around, right? Click and move around. Now, I'm gonna show you one more thing. Okay, so if you want to delete an object, you can just select the object and press delete. Click this and delete. Click this and delete. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you this outliner. So you go to Windows and go to outliner. Okay. Now, this little window, right, basically tells you how many objects you have in your scene. Okay, so if I create like sphere, they're also going to be listed over there. And if I create another object, right, they're also going to be listed over here. Okay, so this is very important, especially when you work on a bigger scene where you have to deal with quite a bit of object. So using this outliner, they will track how many objects you have in the scene. Now this thing here, right, indicate that is a camera, right? Right now you have perspective, you have top, you have front, and you have side, right? Now you cannot delete this, so if you try to delete this camera, that will give you error. Okay, so whenever there's something bad happening, they will indicate by this color. Okay, there's a red color, indicate like there's some error happening in your scene. Okay, so that's what happened here when you're trying to delete the camera. Okay, you cannot delete the camera, but if you want to delete an object, that is okay, right? So select this and delete. Okay, very simple, very easy, right? Now I'm going to show you how to save the file. So whenever you finish with your work and you want to save it, you can just go to File and Save As. Right? Now, there are two different types of file format. Right? There is Maya ASCII and Maya binary. So let's say you are finished with your homework and you want to save your file. Right? It's going to be either .ma or .mb. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as you can open it and continue your work. Okay, it's just a different file conversion. Okay, for the assignment submission, for the homework submission, it doesn't matter if you want to save as ASCII or binary, as long as you can open it, I can open it as well. Right, so there's the basic functionality of Maya navigation.